Control doesn't start with chains, it starts with comfort. The scariest part, you don't even know it's happening, and by the time you notice, it's already too late. Here are 10 signs you're being controlled without even knowing. 1. You explain people's bad behavior instead of feeling it. This comes from broken emotional regulation and trauma-based attachment patterns. Your brain minimizes pain because it learned that feeling pain wasn't safe. You say, "They're just stressed. They didn't mean it. It's not a big deal." But your body feels the truth before your mind admits it. You're not calm, you're dissociating, you're not loyal, you're slowly disappearing. Studies from trauma researchers show people who over-justify others often grew up needing to keep peace to survive. 2. You feel guilty for wanting more. This is identity suppression during identity formation. You were trained to shrink, to be grateful, to not rock the boat. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. Martin Seligman, University of Pennsylvania. You don't chase dreams because you feel selfish. Meanwhile, the people controlling you sleep peacefully while you negotiate with your own soul at night. Funny how guilt only lives in the heart of the person being used. 3. Your choices always change to keep someone comfortable. This is cognitive rigidity without meta-awareness. You think you're flexible, you think you're easygoing, but watch closely. Your life bends around other people's moods. Plans shift, opinions soften, desires get delayed. You don't ask, "What do I want?" You ask, "What will upset them less?" That's not empathy. That's emotional captivity wrapped in politeness. Stanford behavioral psychology research shows people under subtle control lose decision autonomy gradually, not instantly. 4. You feel anxious when you think about being fully yourself. That tight feeling in your chest, that's not fear of failure, that's fear of consequence. Your nervous system learned authenticity equals danger. That's classic trauma-encoded emotional conditioning. You edit your words, you censor your reactions, you shrink your joy. A bird raised in a cage doesn't fear flying, it fears the sky because it never learned it was safe. 5. You overthink every conversation afterward. This is hypervigilance. Your brain scans for danger after social interaction. You replay words, facial expressions, tone changes. Because somewhere in your life, love felt unpredictable. You learn to study people like a crime scene. The irony, the person being controlled becomes the most emotionally intelligent person in the room and still feels crazy. Funny world, the most self-aware people are often the ones doubting their sanity. 6. You feel responsible for other people's emotional stability. This is emotional parentification. You regulate everyone else's nervous system while yours collapses silently. If they're sad, you feel guilty. If they're angry, you feel scared. If they're distant, you feel desperate. That's not love. That's unpaid emotional labor for people who call you lucky to have them. Clinical psychology research shows this pattern develops in childhood homes where love was conditional. 7. You slowly stopped dreaming big and told yourself you matured. This is self-sabotage camouflaged as growth. You didn't become realistic. You became programmable. You traded hunger for stability, fire for predictability. A wild mind forced to behave doesn't become adult, it becomes silent. Here's the brutal truth. Control doesn't need chains when it teaches you to shrink yourself. 8. You feel uncomfortable when someone truly supports you. This one is dangerous. Healthy love feels boring to you. Calm feels suspicious because your attachment patterns were built around chaos. Research in attachment theory, John Bowlby, shows people raised in unstable environments confuse peace with emptiness. You gravitate toward people who control you emotionally because it feels familiar. Safe doesn't feel safe. Chaos feels like home. That's a prison decorated like a childhood memory. 9. You apologize even when you're hurt. Your self-worth got outsourced a long time ago. You say sorry for feeling, sorry for needing, sorry for existing too loudly. This is identity erosion. You've turned into a polite ghost walking inside your own life. And the darkest part? People benefit from your silence and call you mature. Silence isn't wisdom when it's built from fear. 10. You feel tired but not physically, spiritually. This is nervous system burnout. It happens when you live in quiet survival mode too long. Your soul feels old, not because you've lived too much, but because you never got to live honestly. You're not lazy, you're not weak, you're not broken. You've just been carrying invisible chains so long they started to feel like jewelry, and the world praised you for being strong while you were slowly disappearing. Somewhere during this video, if your chest felt tight, your jaw clenched, or your eyes went quiet, that wasn't coincidence. That was meta-awareness waking up. And if this kind of truth feels familiar, you probably belong in a space where we talk about things people are scared to admit. That's why people who think deeply tend to quietly stay connected here. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you made a decision that wasn't shaped by fear, guilt, or someone else's expectations? Not everyone is brave enough to see their chains. Not everyone has the intelligence to question their reality. But if you're still here, still listening, still self-reflecting, you're not average. You never were. You don't need permission to be awake. You don't need approval to be free. And you don't need to be loud to be powerful. Just don't live a life that isn't yours.